Hi everybody. I have been a professional artist working full-time selling my prints and original paintings on Etsy for about 4.5 years now. And I'm quickly approaching my 1,000th sale on Etsy, and I wanted to create a video today to share with you how I package and ship my prints. Prints are a big seller of mine on Etsy. And during the last 4.5 years, I can really about count on one hand the customers that have come back to me with all of those sales that have received a damaged print, maybe 4 or 5 at the very most. So I'm pretty confident in the way that I ship my prints, and I thought that you might want to take a look so that if you are just starting out on Etsy, or maybe you've been doing it for a while and you're looking for a better method of shipping your prints, that hopefully this video will be helpful to you. So enough chit chat, we'll go ahead and get started, and I'll show you my shipping station and exactly the process that I use to ship my prints. So let's head over there now. Okay, so this is my shipping station. This is what it looks like, and this is where I prepare my prints for shipping. And we'll start over here on the right-hand side, and the first thing that I have is a good paper cutter. I bought mine on Amazon, and I made sure that I got a good one. I was using a really cheap one to begin with, and I was so frustrated with it because I couldn't get a clean edge, and it just did not do a very good job. I was buying blades all the time. So I finally did have to splurge and get a really good one, and I recommend that you do that right off the bat, because if you don't, you're going to end up splurging for a good one anyway. I can guarantee it, especially if you do it often enough. And I use mine several times a day. I've had this for several years, and it works beautifully. The kind that I have is a Carl, and it cuts paper up to size 15 inches and let's see, 12 inches wide. That is the width and then the height of this. Obviously, you can cut something that's longer. You just have to slide it through. But this is the overall size of the cutting area. This is a great cutter. I can't recommend it enough. So if you print from home, then you'll print your print out, and then you'll bring it over here to the cutter and you'll cut it down to size. So moving over here, I am going to share with you a tip that I have for backing board. I use this type of, it's like a rigid mat board, except it's just a backing board. It's acid free. This is an 11 by 14 size. I get mine off of eBay. Sometimes I go to clearbags.com. Sometimes I find better prices there, even though their shipping is pretty high. They will have a sale every once in a while, so keep your eye out on that or search for coupons. But most of the time I buy my backing board off of eBay. And so I have mine it's been pre-cut 11 by 14. Now, one tip that I have for backing board, if you have a place like Hobby Lobby or Michael's, sometimes they will use their discarded mat board and they will bundle it up and sell it. And I just actually found this. I haven't even opened it yet, from Hobby Lobby, and there's about 20 11 by 14 mats in here, and I paid $10 for about 20 of them, and that is a really good price because the cheapest 11 by 14 mat that I have found, it ends up coming out to about $1.23 for me to ship one 11 by 14 print with the backing board. Just the backing board costs me $1.23 on average by itself. So obviously, if you can find it like this, It's, it comes out to about 50 cents. I can't find these all the time, but when I do, I stock up on these. So that I highly recommend. I think it's a great, great deal. But either way you go, if you can't find anything like this at your local Hobby Lobby or Michael's, eBay, a great place to go for backing board. So I have my 11 by 14 backing board here, and the next thing that I have are these sleeves. These are rigid plastic sleeves, and they have glue on the back. You just pull the strip of glue off, and then you slide your print in, you slide your backing board in, and then you can fold it over. Now I have one here that I've got about ready to go out that I will show you. I've got my Black Panther here, and I've got it in one of these plastic sleeves. I get these off of eBay also. eBay is a great place to get packing material. I recommend that you go there first. So I've got my Black Panther here in the sleeve. I have the backing board on the back. I have my business card in here as well. And then when I have everything in, then I just close it up. I take the little strip off and I close it up. It's important to have something like this protecting your artwork, because if you don't and it gets wet from the weather, you never know what the weather is going to be like, where you're shipping it to. If you don't have something like this, your print could easily get damaged. And plus, it just looks professional when you have backing board. I know a lot of people, they take their prints and they put them in the sleeve, and then they just tape the print to like a larger size backing board. I've not had a problem doing it this way. This works really, really well for me. And plus, I think this looks like how you would see a print for sale at an art fair. And so I try to keep up, just so that it looks consistent to when I do sell at art fairs. One thing that I don't have ready for this yet is, and I just do this for all of my prints that I sell, I include a handwritten note, and I usually print out or have on hand several previous works of mine. And depending on what a person has purchased is usually which one that I get. Now, if someone, for example, if somebody purchases one of my bird prints, then I'll include a small print of maybe another bird or something like that. And then I will put a handwritten note on the back of it, and I'll put that in with my print. If they buy more than one print, then what I've started doing is including an extra print for them. I'll put in something, again, depending on what they purchased. If they purchased one of my landscapes, then I'll make sure and put in another landscape, or just something that I think that they might like in addition to what it is that they purchased. So this is a really good practice. I think that this helps bring customers back. It personalizes your relationship with them, so that they know that when they are buying something from you, you're the one that is preparing it by hand for them. So when you send them a handwritten note thanking them for purchasing from you, I think that is a really nice added touch. So I highly recommend that. So when I do that, then I will put that in with my print. I'll put it in the sleeve and I'll have it ready to go. One thing that also that I wanted to mention, if you're just starting out and you really don't have a lot of money to print out extra prints, which when I started I didn't have any extra money to be able to do that. I didn't have that as a luxury. What you can still send something personalized. And what I did was I received from Shutterfly, from Snapfish, those places where you can, get prints, 100 prints for $1 or something like that, I will upload my prints onto those sites, and then I will just get, you know, regular prints from there. And that is exactly what I did here with some of these, and I still have some. This is from my yoga series, and it's a regular, just a regular print. It's got the semi-glossy finish on it. This still is a nice gesture, and it costs very little, but it still is very meaningful to your customer. So if you can't afford to give them an extra print, you can still give them something that is personalized, that says thank you for them purchasing something from you. Even though on the back here I have it reads snapfish.com, but you can add something special under that. Usually they allow you to write your own little whatever it is that you want to put under there, and sometimes I'll put copyright Ellen Brenneman Studio, or thank you for your purchase, whatever, but most of the time I just write over this, so they don't even really pay attention to that. But anyway, that's another added tip if you don't have the ability to print out something small to give to your customer. So once I have that done, then I take my print and I use these envelopes right here. They're white and they have tape on them, and when I'm ready, I just go ahead and I put my print inside. This is pretty rigid here. It's quite rigid. It is, it has a slick outer coating, so it's a bit resistant to water droplets. It's not waterproof, but it provides a little bit of extra protection. And I just slip my prints in there, and then I print my shipping label out from Etsy, and I put it on top of here and use packaging tape. Shipping tape that I get, this is what I use. I use the Scotch brand shipping and packaging tape. This works better than anything else that I've tried, and I have tried a lot of different type of tape. This is the best I have found, because if the piece of tape, like if the end of it gets on to the rest of it, you know, where you're constantly searching, so that, you know, you pull it up and then you end up pulling up a piece and then it splits in half, and that is so frustrating. So this does not do that. This stays put when you tear it off, and it's thick enough where it's not going to fold onto itself. With those cheap tapes, I end up wasting more than I end up using. So I use the Scotch shipping tape. It works really, really good. So I put that on here, and then when I am done with that, before it's ready to go out, I use one of these Sharpie markers, and I write on here, "Do not bend." And I usually put it twice on the front, and when I turn it over, I usually put it twice on the back. The post office is pretty good about being careful with things, but you always want to remind them that there's something fragile inside and that you do not want it bent. So please make sure that you do that. Before I forget, these envelopes that I have, again, eBay, look for them on eBay. These are great envelopes to have. I have these for these are for my 8x10 prints. I believe this is 9x12 or 8.5x12. I'm not sure. And then I've got smaller ones here too. This is for my 5x7 prints. And then I have some for my 11x14 prints, which I keep underneath my table. So anyway, this is my shipping station. I'm going to swing around here slowly, trying to look at all of my junk. And this is where I do my printing. The printer that I have on the right, as you can see, I'm partial to Canon printers. Both of these are Canon printers. The printer that I have on the right, I use to ship out, to print out my shipping labels. I work on a spirit animal series, so If I have a customer that requests the animal symbolism that I write, I'll print that out on there. My left one, I use, that's also a Canon, it's a Pro 100. I use that for my larger size prints. This is a great printer. I have not had any issues with this printer. I love it. It prints out vivid colors, and I can't say enough things about it. Professional photographers use it. This gives me I believe up to a 13-inch size piece of paper, which is fantastic. And coming over here, let me see, while we're here, I'll show you the paper that I use. This is the paper that I use. It's made by LexJet. Premium archival matte, 13 by 19 inches. That is the size of the paper, and there are 50 sheets in here, and you can get this on LexJet's website. So I guess the last thing that I wanted to show you, I'm not doing any of these in order, so I'm sorry about that. The last thing that you would need to get is a good scale, because you're going to want to measure your prints. Once you've been doing this for a while, you'll have an idea of exactly what the weight is, and you won't need to use it as often. But this is a great scale. AWS, this is a postal scale. What I like about this scale is that if I have something that's heavier, I can always flip it up and I can lean. If it's a package, if it's a larger size print, and I place it over top and I can't read it, then I will put it up on its side and I'll be able to read it. So that works out really well too. I love this particular scale, and but it really, there are several postal scales, and I hear they all pretty much work the same, but I happen to really like this one. So anyway, I think that is about it. So I am going to pause this so that you can see my face before I sign off. So hang on just a second. Okay, so before I go, I wanted to share one more thing with you that I didn't think to mention before when I was showing you my printer. For the first 3 years or so, I printed out my 8 by 10 prints and smaller on one printer, and I outsourced for my 11 by 14 prints. I also, for a couple of years, offered 16 by 20 prints, which I also outsourced. And what I mean by that is I did not have the ability nor the funds to get a good printer, so I wanted to still be able to offer larger sized prints because a lot of my customers were asking for them. And since I couldn't afford one myself, I had to search for someone to do that for me. The best way to do that, if you live in a larger town, is to find someone local. There's usually, larger towns will have printers that you can go to, and they will print really high quality prints for you. They can be costly, but they're worth it in order to offer your customers what it is that they want. Excuse me. So that is one method. If you don't have anybody local, like I didn't have anybody really that provided the kind of quality of prints that I wanted. So I outsourced to a printer that I found online, and I was able to get some samples from them. I really liked, they had several different types of paper to choose from, and even though it is, like I said, more expensive because you have to pay them to ship those prints back to you if you sign them and then send them off to your customer, it's worthwhile to get several made at a time if you can afford to do that. I couldn't afford to do that initially. You know, having inventory it's a blessing and a curse. If you have a lot of things to offer your customers in the way of prints, like for example, I have, for my spirit animal series, alone, I have over 80 prints available to offer to my customers. I can't afford to have several sizes of each of those in inventory sitting here in my studio because I never know what's going to sell. So it is cost effective for me to print on demand. And again, if you are able to do that and have an outsourced printer, then whenever you have someone who orders something, then you can just order one at a time. As you get more successful and if you know what your customer base is going to want to buy, then you can have several of those on hand, or purchase several at once. But it was more cost effective for me to print on demand. So when an order comes in, then I print that one thing. I still have a lot of inventory from art fairs that are just sitting, and you don't want to tie up your money in inventory. It just is not a cost-effective way to do business unless you know for sure that you're going to sell those things in a timely manner. So that's another tip that I can think of that I wanted to share with you. And there was something else, but I can't remember what that was. So maybe I will put that in another video. Anyway, so I don't want to make this any longer, but hopefully you have a better understanding of at least how I ship things out. And like I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave your question in the comment section below, and I will respond as soon as I am able. I plan on doing more of these. This is sort of 2017 is my year of giving back because I learned a lot from YouTubers who are willing to share their methods of doing things. And so this is going to be my year of giving back to the community and hopefully paying it forward a little bit. So if you like this video, I would appreciate a thumbs up. And please subscribe to my channel so that you can see more videos like this when they become available. So thanks a lot for your time, everybody, and thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.